How might changes to the Postal Service impact the election? That's what we're answering this week on At the Polls. So it's no secret that the Postal Service has been under attack.
You have to remember that it is postal service, it's not postal business.
Our postal service is in chaos.
A politically motivated attack on the efficiency of the Postal Service.
We've all heard the stories. Earlier this year, Donald Trump appointed one of his supporters to serve as Postmaster General. Then, just a few months from the election, that appointee, DeJoy, ordered changes to how the Postal Service operates. And here's the problem. It appears that those changes were politically motivated in hopes to impact our vote-by-mail system.
On Friday, we learned that the U.S. Postal Service sent letters to more than 40 states warning that it cannot guarantee that all ballots cast by mail for the November election will arrive in time to be counted.
But before we get into that, let's get a little background on the Postal Service. I spoke with Bobby Hoffman, a friend and coworker of mine who also works on voting rights campaigns. And for one summer, he actually was a letter carrier. I need to know, what happened to your uniform after you stopped?
Well, I was just a casual letter carrier, so sadly I did not get one of the cool uniforms. I was only given a hat and a badge to wear to let folks know that I was with the post office. So the post office was formed in 1775, a year before the Declaration of Independence. It was really formed to provide a service and tie the country together. At a time where the country was just getting started, there was a presence of the federal government in every community, and there was an opportunity for every individual to interact with their federal government.
Here's a good place to share some additional Postal Service facts. 1. The Postal Service not only predates the Constitution, but it's also written into it. So it's part of the very fabric of our nation. 2. The Postal Service must follow what's called a universal service obligation. This means it's required to deliver and provide quality services to everyone in America, no matter where they live or who they are. 3. The current Postal Service employs over 600,000 people, meaning only Amazon and Walmart employ more people than the U.S. Postal Service. Last, the Postal Service has over 160 million different points of delivery. I repeat, 160 million. And over all those employees and all those activities of the Postal Service sits the Postmaster General.
So the Postmaster General is the chief executive for the United States Post Office. The Postmaster General is responsible for kind of managing and directing the day-to-day operations of the Postal Service. The current Postmaster General was DeJoy. Unlike his three predecessors, DeJoy was not a career employee and was viewed as many as partisan due to FEC reports showing that he had donated a large amount of sums of money to the Republican Party.
If you think the standalone blue mailboxes are vanishing, it's not your imagination.
The U.S. Postal Service said it removed dozens of post office boxes.
They have called the Postmaster General to testify before Congress next week.
So after those changes came to light and concerns grew among the public, DeJoy issued a statement saying that he was going to suspend those actions. However, when being placed in front of Congress, being asked questions, he did not commit to placing especially the mail sorting machines back into facilities that had already previously been removed.
Will you be bringing back any mail sorting machines?
There's no intention to do that. They're not needed. We are not making any changes until after the election.
I got to speak with Joyce Harris, a current employee of the Postal Service and a member of the American Postal Workers Union, about what she's seeing.
Okay, I've been with the Postal Service for going on 32 years. In our facility, they have taken some machines offline. If we had like 10 or 9 delivery barcode sorters, they took maybe like 4 of them offline where they took the front part of the machines apart. The sad part of the problems that we're having is that a lot of the mail is left behind. And I mean a lot, where it is the prescriptions and stuff, because right now our mail volume is just like Christmas. So we have plenty of mail, but the mail is left behind because the trucks are instructed to leave as scheduled. So they leave mail there. They have to go by what management is telling them. I guess it's coming from up ahead because We've never done it before.
Okay, so since Louis DeJoy became Postmaster General in June, he made post offices remove mail sorting machines, told mail workers that they could no longer work overtime to finish getting the mail out, and also ordered trucks to leave at exact times, regardless of whether the mail they were supposed to carry had been sorted or not. But this is about voting. So let's talk about the post office's history in helping people vote. Bobby?
So voting by mail originally became really popularized during the Civil War for members of the Union. So soldiers were able to cast a ballot by mail and send it back. It was also really important during World War I and World War II to ensure that voters abroad, particularly soldiers, were able to cast a ballot.
I want to vote too. That's the way democracy works, and that's why democracy works.
You know, fast forwarding to modern history, we're seeing that this is a very, very common method of voting, even when there isn't a pandemic. In the 2016 election, nearly 24% of voters cast a ballot that was mailed to them. What we've seen in some polling so far is that 60% of the nation is really interested in either casting their ballot by mail or going in and casting a ballot early in person. So in 2016, roughly 137 million people voted in the United States. If every single one of those individuals were able to cast an absentee ballot and cast that ballot by mail on the same exact day, that's still not even as much mail that goes through the post office in one day during Christmas season.
I understand the post office receives thousands of these letters every year.
Your Honor, every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office has delivered them.
After our interview with Joyce, we got more good news. A federal judge in Washington state agreed to temporarily block operational changes within the United States Postal Service. The judge described Postmaster DeJoy's changes as a politically motivated attack on the efficiency of the Postal Service. So what can we all do now? First, we can vote with confidence. Voting by mail is secure and safe. We've been doing it in this country since the Civil War. And Bobby and Joyce both tell us that the Postal Service's capacity to deliver mail far exceeds the demands of the election, simply based on the volume of mail that the Postal Service is accustomed to handling every single year during the holiday season. So the people who work for the Postal Service have our back, and we need to make sure that we have theirs. Call your senator and demand action. Late this summer, the House passed full funding for the Postal Service, but so far, the Senate has failed to act. If you've got questions about absentee ballots or voting by mail in your state, you can find the information that you need at aclu.org/voter. And on a final note, thank you, postal workers. Thank you for watching. This is our second episode of At the Polls. So if you're curious about what election night 2020 might look like, check out episode 1. And if you're curious about voting in the lead up to this election, subscribe and click the notification bell.